Once upon a time in the animal kingdom, there was a famine. The animals in the kingdom were all starving and looked very lean and malnourished. There was no rain to water the plants, and the land was too dry for anything to grow from it. In the midst of this famine, however, only the birds seemed to be growing fatter and fatter. It became very obvious that the birds are getting food and nutrition from somewhere up above. All the other animals tried to ask the birds how they've been getting fatter, and every other animal have been getting leaner. But the birds refused to disclose any information to them. When it came to the tortoise's attention, he decided to find out from the birds where they get their food. The tortoise is known for being cunning, and the other animals are always very careful when they are dealing with him. The tortoise lured some of the birds to a corner of his house and promised to give them one of his houses if they tell him where they get their food from. He also promised to never disclose the secret to the other animals. The birds at first refused to tell the tortoise. They reminded him of his cunning ways as a reason why they wouldn't disclose the source of their food to him. The tortoise continued to plead and promised not to play any tricks. The birds decided to show him mercy and then agreed to tell him. They told him of a feast held high up in the heavens for anyone who manages to make it up there. The tortoise thought about it and realized that it would be impossible for him to get to the heavens because he had no wings. "Oh wait!" he screamed as an idea struck him. "If only each of you birds would lend me a feather to attach to my body, which will serve as a wing, then I might be able to fly up to the heavens with you," he said. The birds deliberated on it and finally agreed. They gave him a feather each to attach to his body to form wings. Before they left, the birds asked the tortoise to take on a nickname, one which he would be addressed by when he gets to the heavens. After thinking about it, the tortoise said he should be called All of You. The birds all laughed at him for choosing a funny name without knowing his real intention. Finally, they left for the feast. When they arrived, they were welcomed by the host of the heavens and led to the table where the banquet was prepared. "This food is for all of you," said the host before leaving. At that point, the tortoise stepped forward with pride and reminded the birds that his nickname was All of You, and so the food belonged to him alone. He then went ahead to eat the entire food as the birds watched him, feeling betrayed. When he was done, his smooth shell shone brightly. The birds were all angry at him, and they decided to take back the feathers they gave him, leaving him with no wings to fly back down to the ground. As the birds were leaving, one after another, the tortoise was stranded as he had no wings anymore. He pleaded with one of the birds to take a message home for him. "Tell my children to bring out the softest materials, the beds and the pillows in my house, and put them out for me, so that I can land on them safely when I jump down." The bird agreed to take the message, but when he got to the house of the tortoise, he changed the message to teach the tortoise a lesson. "Your father has instructed that you bring out the strongest and hardest materials in the house out in the open," said the bird. When the tortoise looked down from the heavens, he saw his children bringing out materials, and so he became assured that he would be able to land safely when he jumps. When they had finished, the tortoise jumped from the heavens and crashed into the hard materials. His smooth shell shattered into several pieces. It took the best healer in the land to put his shell together. And so, till this day, the tortoise has a broken shell as a reminder of what his greed cost him.